What a wild fucking morning, man. Holy shit. I woke up to just... Well, I'm making it sound like I woke up to like fucking 5,000 people like shitting on me or some shit like that. I woke up to my Outlast video just being like hard split. I think it got more dislikes than likes now. Not that that really fucking matters. And at the end of the day, people are just ranking up my video regardless. But I woke up to some people that just could not see my fucking point in what makes a horror game a horror game. Holy shit, man. That is absolutely fucking crazy. I don't even know where to start. Hugs? Oh, don't worry about it, Ayano. Don't worry about it. It's just some people that, how do I explain it? Let's just say that people don't like having different people having different opinions in the same room. It's more like, oh, if I have an opinion, I want my opinion to top over your opinion, you know? There's a handful. We know those kind of people. We know, everybody know that kind of person, like in the room or some shit like that. Everybody always want their opinion to top over somebody else's opinion. It's always been like that. Let me actually change the scene. I haven't even changed the scene yet. But basically, oh god, we know. Yeah, you guys have probably seen some of it, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because I want to get it through some people's thick skull. Even though, you know, I agree to disagree to some of their opinions, but you know, it's their opinion. They're allowed to have their opinions about things, right? But the one thing that I truly wanted to like stress out in that video that I did with like Outlast, the Outlast trials. So to give you guys some context, Gamescom yesterday showed some new gameplay of Outlast trials, the Outlast trials. Now I already know about the lore that it takes it's like the Cold War era and all that shit, like, so I'm already full aware of like the story. Some people say, well, it's a side game, it's not really the game. That's true, right? Whether people will agree to that or not, but the game being a side game or not doesn't really justify what is going on right now, because what I'm seeing, as some people apparently are not seeing, is that oh, what the hell is going on here? You guys see the full? Can you guys see my cap? Okay, you guys can see my capture card. Never mind. Well, at least the KOF shit was fired up for buying the deluxe edition. My man, my G. Oh my god. No, I'm not getting into that. I'll get into that later. But well, basically, long story short, there was a jihad going on. There was a war going on in my YouTube comments of people liking Outlast trials and people shitting, quote unquote, on Outlast trial, and some people defending Outlast trials to say, oh, you know, the game is still gonna be scary, such and such, right? Or whatever they're gonna be saying. I don't even know where to fucking start, man. I don't even know where to start. What the things that I said in that video, in my reaction video, the fact that I like, okay, let's get one thing straight. I asked you guys in the chat. And it doesn't matter what your answer is. Everybody is allowed to have their opinion about something. What do you think makes a horror game more scary? A horror game where you can defend yourself with weapons, traps, and all that stuff? Or one where you don't? You run, hide, or die? The obvious answer is the second one that I just mentioned. I think most people would agree to that. Although, there are exceptions that I'll get into. There are exceptions. I personally think that if game devs have made a franchise that's literally based off of run, hide, or die type of horror game, they should stick to that. That is literally the core concept of the franchise. Now, even if the game might be a side game or whatever the case may be, we have seen so many times throughout gaming history how much them doing something on the side will eventually rub off on a main game. Dead Space 1 to 3. The third game, people were not about that. Fear. The third game, people did not like that. Like, every time they add like all these like mechanical things of like, oh, there's a lot more action now, you can protect yourself, whatever the case may be, people just don't like it, right? People just don't like it. And there's a lot of people that think that I'm saying, boo, you should not buy Outlast Trials, the Outlast Trials. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you better take a very fucking close look at Outlast Trials, because if that game turns out to be super successful in AK money wise, by them adding these like mechanical tools to defend yourself in a game that has this core concept from the first and second game, run, hide, or die, you cannot protect yourself in any means necessary against these variants or whatever the case is of enemies in Outlast, it might rub off on Outlast 3. Now, there were some people that said, because I did bring up Fear, and I did bring up Dead Space, and I did bring up Condemned, and they obviously said, well, you know, in those games you have weapons and you can protect yourself, yet they're still scary, so what's that about? Even some people said like Alien Isolation and stuff, and I'm literally sitting there and thinking, well, you know, honest to God, that is an interesting way of looking at things, and I don't think that should be ignored. But I think those people are missing a very, 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 very big point behind that. Those games started off with weapons and grenades and whatever the case may be. Dead Space, what made Dead Space 1 and 2 super fucking great was not the weapons where you were being able to protect yourself or the necromorphs that scared the shit out of you. It was the environment. It was how it was built. It was how it was found. Like, the foundation of Dead Space 1 and 2, their literal foundation was environment. That's why we're getting a Dead Space remake. That's why Sony took Dead Space 1 to introduce how surround and sounds is gonna be on the PS5. They used a game that was made on PS3 to show how the PS5 is gonna work in terms of sound, noise, environment. Like, come on, give me a fucking break. When it comes to Fear, we know that you cannot defend yourself against Alma. Alma, like, Fear would not be Fear without Alma, okay? You might be able to defend yourself against, like, Armageddon and all that shit, but the moment Alma is there, the moment Paxton Fettel is there, you lose your shit. Like, that is, like, the developers going out of their way and doing something that is so fucking ridiculous hard to do the moment you introduce horror franchise, like the concept of a horror game and introducing weapons and being able to protect yourself in a game, right? It is super hard to have those two things in the same genre. Like, if there's a balance, you need a certain balance, and the balance in Outlast is there's no such thing as weapons. The only way you can protect yourself is by locking the door. But even when you're locking the door, the variants or the main protagonist, like someone like Chris Walker, Traeger, or the fucking skinny ass bitch in fucking Outlast 2, they're still gonna be able to break down the doors. And even like enemies that are not like main protagonists or like antagonists can break down what you put in front of them as defense. And just to get the argue out of the way, people that did say in the YouTube comments, oh, but you know, sure, you might be able to like put down traps and like smoke bombs and stuff. And hey, you know what? I'll fucking agree. It's not even that I'm disagreeing. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to people's opinions about things, and then I apply my own. It's not like I'm saying fuck your opinion about shit and like don't talk to me. But the moment I state my opinion about something, you know, like I said, it's hard for some people to be functional human beings on the internet and have a normal conversation about things, and instead of taking the shit that I said in the video out of context and go directly to the comment section to talk shit or dislike the video, whatever the case may be, you know, maybe you should just sit there and listen to what I have to say, and then you can come with your opinion about it, and I'll be more than happy to listen to your opinion as long as you're not acting like a fucking idiot. What you said, I think it's more thrilling and challenging to play a horror game where you feel so useless against these horrors. For example, Five Nights at Freddy's, all you have to do is defend yourself with camera, flashlights, and doors and stuff. Yeah, like you have no, like, well, and that's what I'm trying to apply. Sure, in Five Nights at Freddy's, you might have doors and shit to protect yourself, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna work against the animatronics. That could be the same case for the Outlast trials. Sure, you might be able to make traps and smoke bombs and whatever you can throw at the enemies, right? That does not mean you kill them, right? And it's not about killing them. That's what people do. Like, it's like, again, it's like people taking the shit that I said out of context and saying, oh, you know, I do not like the way they're going with this because eventually you're gonna be able to kill the enemy. I never ever said you're gonna be able to kill the enemy. But the fact of you being able to put down a trap, do a smoke bomb, do something to distract the enemy that is coming for you, even if it is only for 2 to 3 seconds, you still have tools, you still have mechanics to avoid getting fucked in the ass by a variant or whatever the case may be. Whether you guys like it or not, that is protecting yourself. Protecting yourself doesn't always, protecting yourself is not always the equivalent of neutralizing the enemy by killing them or whatever the case may be with a weapon or with a bomb or with a minefield, some shit like that. But distracting the enemy for 2 to 3 seconds can definitely take the tension away. Imagine you walking through like a hallway in this like test subject environment that you're in, because you're a guinea pig, and it might be like a different asylum. It's obviously not it could be Mount Massam Asylum. It could be like an underground basement of Mount Massam Asylum that we never knew about. We don't even know how long Mount Massam Asylum have existed. It could have been existed ever since like the Cold War era, but I doubt it. It's obviously a different place, right? I did go to the website and I read about all the shit with Outlast trial, but like, so picture that, put yourself in the shoes. So you walk in a hallway, suddenly an enemy fucking bash opens the door and be like, come here, motherfucker, and he like runs against you. That takes away, like, it takes away the tension and the build up to those scenarios happening in the game when you can just go like, oh, it's fine, I'm just gonna put down this trap. Like, you like plant it on the floor, you run away, the variant runs into the trap, he's maybe stunned for like a half second, some shit like that, and then he chases you again. That takes away the tension. It does. That's what made the door so great in Outlast, because whenever Chris Walker was there, whenever like some random ass variant was there and just started chasing you, right, it's like, oh fuck, he's coming, he's hauling for my ass, hulking, right, fucking hairy beast, like he's fucking like, you're a little pig, he's like coming for your ass. You had to run to a certain area because you knew at a certain area when you were running back that there was a door. Maybe you ran into a room that had like a table, you locked the door, all that shit, you run behind the table and Chris Walker starts banging on the door, he breaks it up, right? It doesn't remove that tension, right? For me at least, it doesn't remove that tension. Like I said, it's my opinion on things. So he breaks the door open and it gives me an opportunity, it gives me a chance to do ring around the rosies around the table, right? So he's coming for me either from left or right. If he goes left, I'm gonna go right and I can get out of the fucking room and go to where I was supposed to go. That completely ruins it when you can just throw something in their face. I saw the trailer. Like, people are talking to me like I didn't fucking watch the trailer, and there are people that are saying like, oh, you know, maybe you should try out the game before you state your opinion. I'm stating my opinion, and I'm definitely judging the book by its cover when they're literally showing in the trailer, in the first official gameplay trailer, it's the equivalent of saying, this is what you can do in the game. When they show you can defend yourself that way, That gives me mixed feelings. I'll repeat it. I'll say it again. That gives me mixed feelings. That doesn't mean that I went out of my way to say, boo, you shouldn't buy this game. This game is gonna be trash. This game is gonna be a joke. I never ever said anything of that. And there are people in the comments that goes to my video and dislike that shit because that is they say I assume things, but they're literally sitting there assuming hard as fuck of what I said, and they didn't even watch the entire video. So that's my opinion on that. I'm not even saying, boo, you shouldn't buy Outlast Trials. But what I am saying is that you better believe that there's a handful of people that do not like playing a horror game where the core concept of the entire franchise has always been you are helpless, you lost, you this, that, and the other, and you have to like fucking get out of this fucking hell on earth. Like, literally when you start the game, new game, it literally gives you those disclaimers. It literally gives you those fucking disclaimers, for fuck's sake. They literally say you're not a fighter, okay? You're helpless, this, that, and the other. You either have to run, hide, or die. But your character, the characters in the lores of Outlast 1 and Outlast 2, aka also Whistleblower, because, you know, everything started in Whistleblower, technically. These characters are willing to put their life on the line to get the truth out of whatever, right? That has always been the main concept of the games. And it doesn't matter if people are saying, but it's a side game. Outlast 3 is not going to be like that. To be honest, as much as I would agree to that, it's shit. Even go back to the first video I talked about when we saw Outlast Trials, like the Outlast trial for the first time, and you saw the trailer where the guy's like reaching for the girl's hand, and they stated that you're gonna be able to have some co-op shit going on. Even there, I wasn't really feeling it. I was like, you know, I don't really feel that. That was the same thing for Fear 3. The moment you had like co-op, that not only are you gonna be able to play Point Man, but you're also gonna be able to play his brother Paxton Fettel. It's like it for me, again, for me, it removes that tension of what makes a horror game a horror game. I'm not even saying it, like, if you like it, go fuck yourself. Like, if you like it, more fucking power to you. Honestly, God, more fucking power to you. But do not come back to my YouTube video and say, damn, Chris, you were right. They released they released Outlast 3, and now we have like weapon mechanics and all that shit in Outlast 3 because Outlast Trials was such a successful game. Like, we're seeing that shit happen so many times where these like developers making a horror game, and the moment they start adding like more action to their horror games, more people, more consumers are gonna go out and buy their games. And that doesn't really mean that's a bad thing, because it means the game will become more successful and the franchise might also become more successful. But the fact that they have to go a different route from where they started just to make their horror game franchise a more profitable title at the end of the day, I do not respect that at all. I don't like. I'm really disappointed in anyone that cannot see my point of view of why I have mixed feelings about that shit. Like, I'm really disappointed that people want to go out of the way to just say, oh, you know, this guy don't know what he's talking about, blah blah blah, when we're seeing that shit happen so many times. And like I said, people brought up Alien Isolation, where they said, well, you know, you got grenades and guns in Alien Isolation, and even if that's the case, the xenomorph is still scary as fuck. True, absolutely, I agree to that. But you gotta go back to what I said. The game's core concept started off with that. You're gonna be able to protect yourself against xenomorphs, but eventually you're gonna run out of bullets and you're not gonna be able to protect yourself. Even that takes away the tension for me, to some degree at least. Alien Isolation is still a super fucking scary game. I'll admit it, it is super scary. But you gotta, again, you gotta go, I know I sound like a broken record, but there's a balance. There's a balance that is needed when it comes to that. And they already solidified that balance in the first title of the game. So whenever there's gonna be an Alien Isolation 2 eventually coming out in the future, we don't know, there might be. Even if they added more weapons to it, where you're gonna have like different ways of protecting yourself, it wouldn't really be like a different approach to the game. It wouldn't really be like a different way to throw you into like the horror concept of the game, because it was already solidified. That's what we did in the first game. Now take a game that never had that. Like, imagine if you could protect yourself in Amnesia. It's the same concept there. Amnesia, Dark Descent, Amnesia, and a machine for pigs. Imagine if you eventually like could just place down a minefield. You could place down, like, you know, you went to like some random ass lab, you took like some elixir or some shit like that, some toxicated elixir, you throw it on the floor, it creates some random ass like toxic gas where like the monster in Amnesia cannot like go through that shit, because if they inhale it, you know, they're gonna start coughing, and that's gonna like stun them for like a half second. That's still taking away what solidified the other games. Because even in Amnesia, you have the whole run, hide, or die. Soma, you have the run, hide, or die. In Penumbra, you have the run, hide, or die. That's the only thing I'm talking about. The one thing that I just don't like, or just don't appreciate, or gives me mixed feelings about the Outlast trials, is the fact that you can protect yourself. And it's not easy to make a horror game. I'll admit it. It's not easy to make a horror game. You gotta come up with so many ideas where you make someone play a video game and they are scared shitless, even though it's something that doesn't really jump out of your monitor when you open up the game and shit, right? It's not easy to make a horror game. It's not easy. And especially like if you play a horror game and you already ran through the game the first time, it's not gonna be as scary as the second time you play the game. That's why there's a lot of horror games that always grow stale. There was one guy in the YouTube comments that said they can't just keep making the same shit over and over and over again. I agree to that. But that's where, as a game developer, have to come up with new, interesting ways of applying the scary concept, where it's gonna be harder for a player to not get scared in those certain situations. What made Resident Evil 8 so fucking great, Resident Evil Village, what made Resident Evil Village so great when it comes to the Donna Beneviento house, was the fact that you did not have weapons. You went into the house and suddenly like all this scary shit fucking happened, and there are millions of fucking players that played that scenario when fucking Resident Evil Village came out. Everybody stated the same opinion about Donna Beneviento's house. That shit was fucking scary. Second time going through it, not as scary. Obviously, because you already know what's gonna happen. You've already experienced that. But the first time you experienced it, that shit was fucking scary. And it was because you were put in a situation where you were not being able to defend yourself. Even when the baby was like there, you didn't have like some kind of minefield or some shit like that to defend yourself. Just like it doesn't matter if you're killing the enemy or not. The fact is that you are still buying yourself time in terms of surviving by basically dazing the enemy. You can even do that shit in fucking Amnesia. You can pick up like a fucking, like, you can pick up a barrel and you can throw it at like one of the monsters, and it might get dazed for like a half second, be like, oh fuck, right? But then it chases you still, and it really puts you in a situation where it's like, should you really do that? Like, because now the motherfucker is closer to you. But the shit that I saw in Outlast trials, it doesn't seem to be that. It obviously does not seem to be that, and that's not even an assumption. That is just basically what they're fucking showing us. The trailer, the Gamescom, the world premiere is supposed to introduce us to, this is what you're gonna be capable of doing in the game. They showed us what we're going to be capable of doing in the game. Now imagine if you're playing online. Now imagine if you're playing co-op. Not only do you have one person that can do like a minefield or like throw something in the opponent's face, now you have two people doing that. Like, no. Just no. Eventually, at the end of the day, right? Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not even saying, boo, you should not buy the game. This game is trash, blah, blah, blah. As some people are assuming, based off the dislikes of the video, people taking my shit out of context and they haven't even watched the fucking video. They stopped watching my video the moment I said, I don't like their approach. I don't like the way they're going with things like that. They immediately went to the comments. Spam comments and shit. You haven't even played the game yet. Neither have you. You didn't even watch the rest of my damn video. If you watch the rest of my video, maybe you wouldn't even be commenting shit like that. But anyways, that's my full opinion about that. That's my full opinion about that. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna play the game. I'm still probably gonna have a fun fucking time with it. And you know what, chat? At the end of the day, the things that I said, it could be something where I'm eating my words when the game comes out. The game could be super fun. The game could be super scary. And it could be probably, like, it probably could be really deep. But that does not mean that is not an ass-policious pull of them throwing in weapon mechanics and all that shit just to appeal to a bigger audience. I'm not even disagreeing with anybody in the fucking comments. I'm saying, you know what? You might be right about that, but here's where I think you might be wrong. But that doesn't mean that your opinion is less. It doesn't mean your opinion is less valid than my opinion. It's not about my opinion is over your opinion or your opinion is over my opinion, right? It's like it's so stupid. I'm literally looking in the comment section and I'm just seeing people being fucking retarded. Like, and I'll say it, it's fucking retarded. There are people that are saying like, oh, if you don't like the online shit, don't play online. Oh, you don't like the co-op mechanics or like the co-op system behind the game, don't play co-op then. Oh, if you don't like being able to protect yourself with weapons, just don't use the weapons. Like, that is such a reductive way of literally seeing everything that I just stated in the video, and it takes away from what the fuck I said. It literally takes away from all the shit I said. Like, it literally ignores the entire premise of why it ruins horror aspects for me and other people. Like, if you like it, more power to you, but I'm not 100% in on it. I'm just not. Opinion. It's okay to have different opinions in the same room. It's not about topping somebody's opinion over somebody else's opinion. Why can't we come together and talk about this shit like normal fucking functional human beings? That shit irritates me so much. It irritates me so much. And it irritates me more to the point because I'm one of those YouTubers, and I'll say it as it is. I'm one of them rare ass fucking YouTubers that goes to the comments, read everybody's comments from start to finish, and a reply to it. But the moment I see people like just take like they just take a small thing that I said in the video, they straw pull my opinions in the video, they dislike the video, and then they state their own opinion about it, try to top their opinion over my opinion, and don't see it from my point of view of why I'm saying this is something that could potentially ruin Outlast for a lot of fucking consumers, including myself, and it's something that can rub off in the future of other titles of Outlast. Why is it people can't see that? Like, is it so hard to see that? But hey, maybe I'm being naive here. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe I'm thinking that everybody in the YouTube comments have a fucking decent brain enough to have those kind of conversations without going fucking ham and being like, oh, you're judging it by the book of its cover. This guy's opinion is trash. Dislike. Yeah, that'll teach him. Dislike. You guys actually think that I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh, please no, don't dislike my video, please, I'm sorry, I'll change my opinions about things. Ooh. You actually think I give a fuck if you dislike my fucking video? You guys don't even know how the YouTube system works. You obviously don't if you think that's gonna fucking affect me. It will affect me, and it's only gonna affect me in a fucking positive way. Because when you like or dislike a video, technically rating a video, you are sending signals to Google, who's owning YouTube. They own YouTube. You're sending signals to Google where they say, oh, look at this video right here. Look at this video right here, guys. There's a lot of activity going on in this video. Look at this fucking video, shithead. And they're gonna rank up my video, which means more people is gonna watch it, which also means that there's gonna be plenty of more people that's probably gonna dislike it because I have a different opinion compared to majority of other people's opinion when it comes to Outlast Trials. But at the end of the day, you are literally ranking my video. You are leveling up my video, you dumb fucks. So keep on disliking my video. I'll wait. Keep on disliking it. And that's just how, like, that's how I know, like, it just tells me that I know I'm sitting and talking to people that literally got nothing going on in their fucking life. Like, the fact that you can get emotionally offended by me stating an opinion about I got mixed feelings about this game. I don't really like the particular way they're going with this, but I'm still gonna play it at the end of the day. But this is a turn off for me. I don't really like it. The fact that you get emotionally offended to the point that you have to go to my YouTube comments and dislike my video about a random guy on the internet having a different opinion about something that you potentially probably don't agree on, sets you off. You need to take a fucking good look in the mirror of yourself, because it's a fucking disgrace. It's a fucking disgrace. Anyways, online, let's see if somebody's online. Like, I do see some people that's like, hey man, I see your point in this and I can definitely agree to it, but I also think the reason why they're doing this for a game that's like a side game of Outlast, such and such, like, there are some people that do actually like agree to my things, but they also state their own point of view on things, and I can respect that. I can absolutely fucking respect that. But if you go out of your way and be like, oh yeah, this guy, man, he don't know shit, blah blah, he's judging the book by its cover, look at this shit, look at this dumb fuck, man, dislike the video. I even had one guy that was like, oh, you know, he was like, he just kept fucking going in the comments, and I kept repeating, this is my opinion about things, and I'm not gonna change it. I stand my ground on this. I don't particularly like this. I got mixed feelings about this, and hey, maybe I'll change my opinion about it when the game is out and I actually get to try it. Maybe I'll change my opinion, but this is my opinion. This is how I look at it right now. Based off what they have shown us, it's not judging the book by its cover. That is what the developers have shown us. This is what you can do in the game. This is how it's gonna be. That's not judging the book by its cover. That is giving my opinion of what has been fucking shown to me. Of what the developers want to fucking introduce to me. The things that want to appeal to me. Hey man, you can do shit like this. Isn't this hype? And I'm like, okay, I can see the hype behind it, but I'm not really a big fan of it. But you know, it is what it is, man. Do your thing. Do your thing. If you guys like it, fucking like it. You know? It's not about that. It's about me saying, hey, come on, man. It's not that I don't want Outlast franchises or games to be good, but the way they're going with things right now, I just don't particularly fucking like it. How is that so hard to understand? Idiots. Absolute fucking idiots that don't see that, or at least have some like common sense to see where I'm going with this, and then be like, okay, I can see his point, but I'm also gonna state my point on things, and if we can turn this out to like a fucking normal ass conversation instead of we having to fucking fight over each other's fucking opinions of which one is the best and which one is not the best. Like, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break on that shit. I hate doing shit like that. The moment I see somebody do that shit in my YouTube comments, Twitter, or whatever the case may be, somebody that just tries for the sole purpose of just looking at all the shit that I just stated and then, you know, pull some fucking reductive way of looking at it and then be like blah 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 and then state their own opinion to try to top my opinion. It's not even about topping somebody's opinion or not. Oh god, there's actually people online. What the hell? Damn. Yeah, we got people online? The fuck? Yo, what up, Hyber? How you doing, Hyber? But yeah, besides that, chat, I'm sorry. I will apologize. There are some things that I do want to apologize for. If I've ever, like, please, by all means, if there is a point in the video where I say the game is gonna be trash, or I say that I'm not gonna buy the game, whatever the case may be, which I'm pretty damn sure I never fucking did, but if there is any moment where I'm saying that, hey, I apologize for that. That's not what I meant. And that was never like that's never like the way I wanted to like state things for Outlast Trials if I ever said anything like that, where people like take the shit that I said out of context or whatever. Well, you guys, it's your guys' own fault for taking my shit out of context. I literally said everything in the video. So if you guys didn't watch the video and you only saw some of it, of me saying something I don't particularly like about like Outlast Trials, but doesn't mean the game is gonna be trash or anything like that, that's on you. That's not really like on me at the end of the day. That's on you for taking my shit out of context and not watch like the rest of the video where I'm sitting there and talking about this is why I particularly don't really feel like Outlast is gonna be like as scary for me like the Outlast Trials. Like, cause they clearly they like throwing in like the horror mechanic, like they're throwing in like the concept of it being horror and it's scary and you have like people chasing you and shit, right? It's there, but it's just not the same for me. For me, guys, it's just not the same when you can protect yourself. And it doesn't matter if you can kill the enemies or not. The fact is that I can protect myself and I can buy myself time in one way or another, and I don't particularly like that. I don't like that in any horror game, unless the horror game already was stated to be like that at the beginning, right? Like Fear, like Dead Space, like Condemned 2 Bloodshot and Condemned Criminal Origins, the first one, right? They already had that concept. That was this core concept at the very beginning of the game. Like, okay, you know, you gotta be able to do this, and you know, there's that. You gotta be able to do all this shit because this is how we're gonna run the games. And there's nothing wrong in that. There are a lot of games that have like tools and mechanics to defend yourself and still be super scary, right? There are definitely still like a lot of games, a lot of horror games that are like that. And I don't know, man, it's like, oh shit, I lost all my flame. It's like, you know, the moment a horror game becomes so popular that it becomes like a AAA game, like a super blockbuster type of game, it's like it loses that for me. It loses that for me. Not that, you know, that a lot of people are buying and supporting the game. That's not what makes it lose it for me. But like the whole idea of like, okay, you basically got 3 other games: Outlast 1, Outlast Whistleblower, right? And then Outlast 2 of games where you're just not able to protect yourself at all. And then suddenly like you have these like tools and mechanics where you suddenly can protect yourself. It's just like, it's just not for me, man. It's just not. I'm still gonna enjoy the game regardless. I'm still gonna have fun with it, right? And like I said, it could probably be super deep. The game could probably still be super deep, but it does not take away, for me at least, that this is just not, it's not really what it's just not for me. It's just not for me when the horror games do shit like that. It's just not. And the fact that people can't see my point of view of that, the literal fucking core concept of the Outlast franchise and how they do their games, even if it is a side game, doesn't matter. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, if you can't see my point of view and you only want me to like listen to your point of view, but you don't even want to fucking listen to my shit, you just assume the shit that I say and then you just roll with it just to, you know, raise your sales, I'm just not gonna have a conversation with you. There's been so many people that I've blocked just like throwing stupid ass comments in the YouTube comments. I'm just not gonna have a conversation with somebody who can't really like take a deep breath and just sit down and like talk about the stuff, because it's not even that I'm saying that the game is trash or anything like that. However, there are some people on Twitter, there are some other YouTubers out there that have said the game is going to be trash and all that, and that's not even what I'm stating. So again, once again, taking the shit out of context, right? They see another YouTuber, they see another person on Twitter or some shit like that, they have like a toxic opinion about the game, and they're gonna expect that everybody else is gonna have a toxic opinion about the game. It's not even that I have a toxic opinion about the fucking game. I'm still gonna go out and buy it day one. How am I having a toxic opinion about a game when I'm gonna go out and buy it day one? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Fuck, you know, it doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what else doesn't make sense? Me fucking going ham. What the hell? Your boy still got it? Your boy still got it in this game? It's probably because I play Tauna Bandicoot. That's the reason why. It's probably because I play Tauna Bandicoot. Doing good, G. What's up? I'm just talking about like the Outlast trials, what they're showing us so far and stuff. You know, it's still a game that I'm super looking forward to at the end of the day. But like I said, it's just like, it's just that alone. I just don't really, I got so mixed feelings about it. And I just see so many people in the YouTube comments that don't particularly agree to my opinion. And I'm not saying that, you know, oh, fuck you if you don't agree to my opinion. But like, I see people that don't agree to my opinion about what I think about the Outlast trials. And they try to like demolish my opinion by disliking the video and saying dumb shit in the comments. Of course, those dumb comments are not there anymore because I fucking blocked them. I banned the fuck out of them. And like I said, you know, hey, that's just the internet, huh? That's just the internet at the end of the day. You know, the moment you have a different opinion that's not like the hive mind opinion, like everybody else, suddenly, you know, you get shitted on. You get shitted on. Whereas like, come on, man, it's not even that I'm trying to say this game is gonna be trash. It's not that I don't want this game to be good, but even if it is a side game, and you know that everybody, it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if it is a side game or not. It doesn't matter. People are gonna have the expectations of, oh, okay, it's a new Outlast game. This is what's gonna go down. And then when they throw in that shit, it's like, alright, I can see why they would do that. And it could probably be a funny thing. It could be, I admit it, it could probably be a funny thing, like to play around with the mechanics, setting up traps and shit. I mean, even like speedrun strats, right? If you look at it like from the point of view of a speedrunner, right? Because I used to speedrun Outlast 1 and all that, you know. It could definitely like, like I said, you know, the game could be fun and it could be really, really deep, but that does not mean that I'm gonna sit there and agree to everything that they do. I don't think that's the right attitude to have as a consumer. I don't think that's the right attitude to have as a consumer. Like if developers cannot take like constructive criticism, well, basically, it's not even the developers that's taking the constructive criticism. It's like, it's the other people in my YouTube comments that also is looking forward to the Outlast trials, and they don't like my opinion because my opinion is different than theirs. Of course, like I said, there are people that do agree to my opinion, and there are some people that's like, yeah, they full on agree to my opinion, and then there's people that agree to my opinion. And they also apply their own opinion about it. I don't mind that at all. Feel free to do that in my YouTube comments by any means. By any means. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me if people dislike my video or not. But if you dislike my video for the sole purpose of, nah, I don't agree with his opinion. His opinion is trash. Dislike. It's just like, okay, I'm just not gonna have a conversation with you then, because you clearly cannot have a conversation on a fucking grown-up level.